What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another exploration video. Um, if you're unaware, we are now in the month of July, so we're now over the halfway mark of my 52 weeks. And if you weren't here for last week's video, we talked about God's promises. So, again, as always, if you have verses or comments or anything like that that you want me to discuss or anything like that, um, just leave it in the comments below and I'll gladly look at them. Man, time's really flying. Like, I still roughly remember my first video when I did it and everything, and it's hard to believe we're already 7 months in, and the rest of the year is just gonna fly right on by. So, and it's been a lot of fun. So I hope you've been enjoying the exploration as much as I have. And um, it's we still have a journey to go. So, but and I'm still improving as much as I can, and in developing things as I go along. But this has been fun. So I hope you've been enjoying it. So going into this week's topic, so we've talked about, like, I wouldn't say like well, kind of like interactions with God in a way, like having Him decipher um, dreams and of course His promises, and like so many like following His timing, and so much stuff we have discussed in this series so far. And when you think about it, I think, like, a struggle when it comes to, uh, I would say, like, following that or obeying that is, how do we know if it's really Him that's, if, um, if it's, I would say, like, how are we sure that we're actually doing this? Like, can He talk to us? Can we, like, if He does, can we hear Him? And if we can, how do we understand the difference if it's Him or something within us? So that's going to be the topic for today. Can we hear God's voice? Now, if you want me to be honest with you, the answer is yes. Like, we have several documentations of within the Bible itself of people hearing and listening to God. Um, I mean, I think the most notable is Moses in the burning bush. I mean, that the bush was God manifested. Like, um, and like another great example was after Jesus' baptism. Like, God literally parted the clouds and spoke, saying how proud he, like, um, that he proclaimed that Jesus was his son after that. So and many people heard that. So if you want my opinion, the answer is yes. And but the thing is, I will also say this. Um, we may not be greeted with like a burning bush or parting of clouds or something like that. Uh, Sometimes it's more subtle. Like, maybe he'll use like a friend or a stranger or something as like a vessel of his, and he'll use them to speak. I will say I have had many of my prayers answered in a way when I would talk to, like, um, my pastor or a friend or something like that, when it comes to when it comes to uh, hearing Him, basically. And like, when it comes down to that, it does make me, like, okay, like, I let's say, like, I was praying that I was having like a hard time, and I just wanted some guidance and some wisdom. Uh, just send something my way or what have you. And then, like, the next thing I get is I do my Bible study with my pastor, and somehow the study that we did over the week transitioned, and it kind of covered. It gave me the answers to the questions that I had, and it gave me the wisdom and peace that I wanted. So I totally see that as like God was speaking to me through my pastor at that time, because like what I took in my notes was way different than what he was telling me, kind of, and it just felt like, hey, yeah, you dissected my word and everything, and I think you got what I was trying to tell you, but here's me answering your prayer for you, and here's that wisdom, here's that peace that you wanted. And so and there was a time where I prayed like, are you even listening to me? And I kid you not, like I felt like this force kind of hit me, and there was like a light whisper saying like yes. So I mean, I'm telling you, like he's, you can hear him. You just like, it's just, you need to be still, be in the stillness. Sometimes the loudness of the world can easily drown out the blessings and grace that God has given us. And the world is very, it's very different, and it's very loud a majority of time. So I definitely would say, but I mean, even in the loudest times, if you are able to focus your mind and just dumb it all down, and you listen closely, you'll hear God. So this is all my advice for you. So the books that kind of covered this topic, um, John had a few, uh, First Kings and Revelations, Isaiah as well, um, Psalms, Jeremiah, Proverbs. They only had, like, some of these only had like one verse each, and like, I mean, I looked at them and stuff like that, and I even compared commentaries, and the the ones that I chose just stuck out more to me compared to the other ones I have listed. But again, if you look this up and you find something different and you want me to dissect it with you, or dissect it anyway, just say so, and I'd be glad to. Just leave it in the comments. Um, so the books I covered were John, Hebrews, and Psalms. I know Psalms is in like every single one of these, but Psalms is a good book. It's a big book too, so it covers a fair amount. So would you? So like, let's go into our first verse. So the first book we're going to is John, and could you go to chapter 10, verse 27? Alright. Alright. John chapter 10, verse 27 reads, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." Okay, let's see how the commentary breaks it down. Oh, well. That doesn't really help the situation. But I mean, I know them, they follow me. Let's see if I break it down. God and Jesus both know us by name. God created us, so of course He knows our identities. Whenever you hear a light whisper telling you everything is okay, don't worry, you are my child, we need to be quiet and just listen to that voice and believe in Him. I need to capitalize that H. When He speaks, I need to capitalize that H too. So, I mean, I kind of already went into it, but I mean, literally just quiet your mind, quiet your heart, quiet the outside world, and just go, okay, and let's say you have this in your hand and you just pray, right? And for all you know, the next thing you know, your hand is moving by itself. And it flips to a book and a page and a verse all by itself. And your finger points at it, and then it's like, oh wow, I get clarity. So it's just quiet yourself down and just pray, and God will speak to you. You just need to listen. I think that's like one of the harder things for us to do, not just for God but for people in general. Is just, sitting down and listen, and not just, jump to a conclusion or jump to this thing or do this thing or do that. I totally feel like listening is something that's hard sometimes, but it's necessary. All right, off on a tangent. Okay, again. So our next verse comes from the book of Hebrews, and I would like you to turn to chapter 3, and we're looking at verses 7 and 8. Okay. All right, Hebrews chapter 3, verses 7 and 8 read, Therefore, as the Holy Spirit says, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts as in the rebellion on the day of testing in the wilderness. Now, let me break this down. This is broken down. The commentary breaks it down from Psalms chapter 95, verses 7 through 11. It goes, the inglorious history of Israel under Moses' leadership in the desert, 3 time periods are all under to that of the Exodus, that of the psalmist, and that of the writing of Hebrews. The example of Israel under Moses was under by the psalmist to warn the Israelites of his day against unbelief and disobedience. In similar way, the author of Hebrews applied psalmist's warning also applies here. So let's see if I can break this down a little bit. When you hear his voice, don't be afraid, but be welcoming. He speaks love and kindness, not fear and wickedness. Listen to what he was to say, and you'll be surprised. Okay, so also, take for a good example, when Moses was so God would speak to Moses, which then he would translate things to his brother Aaron to then tell Pharaoh, right? So every time, even when God did this to Pharaoh himself, but I mean, every time God showed a miracle to Pharaoh or whatever using Moses and Aaron, he would harden Pharaoh's heart to him. And I think it was more to prove to the other Egyptians of God's power every time he did that. And just the 10 plagues all by itself, there you go. If this doesn't help you start believing, I don't know what will. I mean, I would have started believing after the first plague. I mean, after I see water into blood, I'm just gonna be like, yep, there's a God, all right. I'm good. I don't need any more convincing. But with Pharaoh, God kept hardening his heart, and so even though people were telling him this was God's doing, he still refused to listen to God when it came to what he wanted. So again, it's a thing about listening. Yes, you can hear God's voice, but you need to listen to it. You need to pay attention to what's going on. Your prayer that you probably were praying forever may have been answered in some way, and you just didn't notice it because you were so focused on it being answered in some kind of way, and God answered it in his own way, and you just didn't notice it. So definitely just be still, be in the quiet, and listen. And God, you will hear God's voice. And when you hear it, definitely listen to it. Because you don't need to be like Pharaoh and start hardening your heart because you just don't want to believe what you're seeing or believe what you're hearing. Either which way. All right, another tangent there. Our final verse comes from the book of Psalms, and it's chapter 85, verse 8. So if you would turn there, please. Hey. All right. Psalms chapter 85, verse 8 reads, "Let me hear what God the Lord will speak, for he will speak peace to his people, to his saints, but let them not turn back to folly." Okay. The commentary. The speaker awaits the word from the Lord, promises peace. The word from the Lord perhaps takes the form of priestly benediction, saints, but let them not return to folly, as to provoke God's displeasure again. But it is also possible to translate the clause "and to those who turn from folly." Let's see, if I break it down, when God speaks to us, it's to move us away from evil. So block out every voice but his in that moment. If you already believe and he speaks, don't panic, because he won't lead you to evil, but instead to more of his divine love. I mean, okay. All of this is accurate. All of this is accurate. If you hear God, okay, let me see if I can do this for you. Say you're praying, right? And let's say you prayed and you asked for a change of location, okay? So, but you still wanted to stay close. Okay, well, what if God will give you a change of location, but he will tell you where he wants you to go compared to where you want to go? So, like, all right, he sees that you want to change, you want to go somewhere else. So he tells you to go, instead of, let's say, 30 miles away, he wants you to go 80 miles away. And you kind of feel discomforted, like, okay, God, I mean, I know I said I wanted to leave, but I didn't want to leave that far. I don't think I want to do that. And it's just like, now, that right there, that's called disobedience. If God is telling you, if he opened a door and said, this house is cheaper, but it's 80 miles away, but there's also something drawing you towards it, that's called the Holy Spirit. I would more listen to the Holy Spirit when it comes to guiding me to go somewhere than, say, going with my own instinct and go like, okay, I want to go here, and it costs twice as much, and like I move in, and then next thing I know, like plumbing breaks and stuff like that. Like, at least if God brings you somewhere, like, he will provide for you. Like, he will do everything to make it comfortable in some way. There might be some unforeseen circumstances that may happen, just like the whole plumbing thing. But like, at least if you paid, now think of it this way, if you paid less for the place that's 80 miles away compared to more for the place that's closer that you wanted, at least you saved money by buying the other place, so you can deal with the issues, compared to buying the 30-mile away place, and now you can't deal with those issues. You're stuck. You gotta start thinking and saving up money and doing other things to even try to fix those problems and stuff. So when you hear God's voice, just follow it. Like, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, like, say he tells you to break up in a relationship. If it, yes, it's going to hurt, but if God is telling you to do it, it's probably for you to escape something that you don't even see. And so, and the same goes for like a job. Like, I mean, if he tells you to up and quit, even though you've been there for X amount of years, he's probably saving you from something that you couldn't save yourself from. And he's, I definitely would think he would have a door open for you before that happened. Like, even if you don't see it yet, like, he has a door open. I feel like in life, when it comes to God, he has more doors open to us than closed. Even though we don't walk through those doors yet, those doors are open somewhere. And I think he would get us prepared and mold us for when we're ready uh, for ourselves to walk through said door. Because life is full of opportunities. And if you listen to God for those opportunities, it's a blessing. But if you follow yourself, you might want to watch yourself on that one. All right. Well, that's the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed this. We're kind of coming down to the wire. Yeah, I mean, let's see, July, August, September, October, November, December. Like, yeah, we're almost 6 months done. 6 months left, and we already did 6 months, and we have 6 months left. Kind of 6 months left, including this one. So it's just like we're coming down to it. Like those like the last 6 months went by super quick. So I feel like these 6 months are going to go by fast too. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you're doing well, and I just pray that if anything's going on, and if you need prayers or anything, or if you have comments or suggestions, just leave them in the comments below. I gladly would hear them. But until then, I'll see you next week in the next video. So God bless. Have a good day, guys.